parts. Right? There's a back-end index, we're calling the Canadiana metadata repository, which is basically a Solr database. And then there's a front-end web application, which is a Perl application built on the Catalyst framework. And the web API is something that we originally developed essentially for our own use, but this is a public interface to essentially the same data that our web application gets from the index. And as you might infer from the version number, it's not completely mature yet. But it's sort of reached the point where there's still more features to add, but it's reached the point where we think that there's not likely to be any changes that are going to break too much of what's already there. So we kind of wanted to open it up to the public and to our partners because in the hopes that providing direct access to the data store would be useful for other applications besides the portal itself. So the Discovery Portal was first launched publicly about a year ago, and it's an aggregate index of digital collections from across the country. Our goal is to be a comprehensive index of Canadian digital collections. So far, we've got about 1 million records in the database and maybe 2 or 3 million pages of actual indexed full text. So we're a long way from finished, but I think we've made a pretty good start. We accept contributions from anyone who's got a digital collection will accept their metadata in basically whatever format they're able to provide, including full text if they've got it, and then we will convert it into a common format, which we also actually published as an XML schema, normalize as much as we can, and put it into the index so that it becomes searchable as part of this aggregate union repository. And we can index things at not just a document level, but at multiple levels. So if you can provide us with, say, a catalog record and full text and provide links to individual pages, we can provide page-level access as well as document-level access and series-level access as well if you have appropriate metadata. So the portal itself is just a famous portal. I'm sure you've all seen online indexes before, and but anyway, you can keyword searching, and then you can limit your search by date range and sort by either relevance or by date range. You can facet by control fields such as media type, contributor, language, and then you can view sort of a more detailed record of the item than what you just get on the search results page. So this sort of represents the level of information that we're generally collecting. It's not meant to be a substitute for a complete cataloging record. It's a normalized subset of the kind of metadata that's common across multiple collections. Right. So because in this case this item was indexed as a multi-page item, you can also search within this particular document to find pages that match your keywords. And then when you link to the object either from this display or from the main search results page, you'll go directly to the contributor site and view the object in whatever original context they presented. And incidentally, this particular site, the Canadian Agricultural Library, is something that we built for Agriculture Canada to host a small collection that they digitized as part of their 100th anniversary celebration. And it also happens to be running on the same software platform as the Discovery Portal, using the same index, and everything is just been configured to serve content instead of point to it. So any interactive query that you can make from the Discovery Portal itself, you can turn into a web service query just by adding a format specifier to it. And so you can essentially do the same search but get a response back in XML, or if you prefer in JSON. The two response formats contain exactly the same information. Obviously, the JSON version is going to be a little easier programmatically to deal with because most languages can just import that into a native data structure, whereas the XML will be a little more parsing heavy, but on the other hand, it's also a little more human readable, or if you want to save it to as something usable, as a record of some sort. What you get back is essentially the same thing that the portal itself gets back. It's made available to its presentation layer. So there's some basic header information which essentially tells you whether your request succeeded or not, and then a page of results, which includes data pulled directly from the solar records and things like the solar facet fields, and some results and information so that it will help you sort of page through a set of multi-page results. We support a query syntax, and it's essentially a subset of the native solar capabilities. And for the most part, we've used the same syntax, except in a couple of cases, for example, with an OR search where we've done this a little bit differently just for convenience. But we currently support wildcard searching, phrase searching, not and or operators in addition to the default and field-specific searching. You can specify your query just by shoving everything into a single query parameter, much like a native solar query, or you can also split it out into individual field-level searches, which makes it easy to do web form-based queries. You don't actually have to do any manipulation to cram it all into a single parameter. You can just sort of pass everything directly along to the API, and then it does all the escaping and sanity checking and everything like that. So you should be able to pass it fairly dirty queries and still get a reasonable result. You can query a number of free text fields like title, subject, author, / creator, as well as a general query which will query all of the available text, including a number of fields that are not yet directly searchable, such as full text or abstract, but which we will add over time once we just get around to adding the appropriate configurations and doing the appropriate testing. And then you can also search through a number of control fields, which are good for faceting. And you can specify a date range for your search, and then your query will find records whose publication date ranges overlap with your request range. So what we're essentially looking for now is for people to use the thing, try it out, and let us know what they think. We built everything to date so far based on our own needs, but we'd like releasing it publicly in the hopes that other people will be able to develop their own applications that leverage the index, and we'd like to hear back from people in terms of what features that maybe it doesn't have that it should, or what it does that it maybe shouldn't do. And if you're interested in developing an application that would make use of a custom view of the data set, then we want to work with you to help establish that. So for example, we're working with the British Columbia Digitization Coalition to develop a British Columbia related set that they'll use to build a ABC portal off of. And finally, because the usefulness of the whole thing depends on both the quality and the quantity of what's in the index, if you have a digital collection and you haven't yet contributed metadata, or if